Hey everybody, it's Mo here from Cooking with Mo and Deb. Deb is off traveling out west in Colorado, somewhere like that. I can't keep up, y'all. But anyway, I'm at home. It's quitting time, and this evening I'm gonna spend my evening with some cucumbers. So y'all might have seen my big bucket of overgrown cucumbers. They're big, they're kind of yellow, overgrown. You might think, man, what are you gonna do with those? Because the seeds in them are so big, and you just have to throw them to the pigs. But you don't. We are going to be making cinnamon pickles. So if you've never had cinnamon pickles, you are missing out. We use red hot cinnamon candies for that wonderful cinnamon flavor. They're very crunchy. Some people call them apple rings because they taste like candied apples, but they're not apples at all, they're pickles. So I just call them what they are, cinnamon pickles. So I'll go over what all's involved in this recipe and then we'll get started. So we've got 10 cups of sugar, y'all. So I've got a big bag. You gotta have some pickling lime. Of course you need all your regular canning supplies, right? Definitely have to have your cucumbers. You need some alum.
No, stop! There's no alum in this recipe. Mo don't know what she's talking about.
And I said red hot, 12 ounces of red hot. You need some white vinegar, and you need some salt, and you need, what else do you need? That may be all the supplies, but you're gonna need a glass container, because when you put that pickling lime in your pickles, you have to let it sit a day, rinse it, and then let it sit another day before you even do the cinnamon part. So it's a 3-day process, this cinnamon pickle. It's definitely a labor of love. So, if you've never made them, they're not that hard. It's just a long process. So we're gonna get started. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut these in half lengthwise, and we're gonna scoop out the insides. We'll actually peel them first. I forgot that part. We'll peel them first, cut them lengthwise, scoop out all the seeds and get rid of those, and then we'll cut them in little, kind of like little half moon shapes is what I like to do. Some people cut them in spears, but I like mine in the little half moon shapes. And at Christmas time, you can put those on a relish platter, and they are just so pretty. And they're the centerpiece of the relish tray. So we're gonna get busy making these cinnamon pickles. Be right back. Okay, you all, step one, I'm going to be getting my cucumbers ready. And the first thing I do is I peel them with this wonderful handy dandy Pampered Chef peeler. I used to use a knife, but now that I have arthritis in my hands and I can't exactly do the things I used to do, this is the next best step. Now to me, it takes a little longer than it did when I was using a knife. I mean, I was pretty good with my little knife, and this does take a little bit extra time, but it does get that peeling off really good. It doesn't take a whole lot of the cucumber away with the peeling either. Now you want to get you some mats, or maybe lay out some newspapers. I don't have any newspapers laid out, but I think I may get some laid out, because this really can make a mess in your kitchen. Okay. All right. So I've got my cucumber peeled. I'm gonna cut the ends off. Okay, just like that. Next, I am going to, first I'm going to move this over here where you see better. Okay. Next, I'm going to just slice this down, just like that, where all the seeds are exposed. And you see those seeds, yes, they're big. This was a big, fat cucumber, overgrown cucumber. Normally, you don't want to eat these in a salad or whatever, because they have those big seeds. I mean, they're still tasty. They do get a little bitter though. Okay, so all I'm doing is taking a spoon. This is like a tablespoon size spoon from my flatware. And I'm just scraping out the insides, trying to get all of the seeds out or any membranes or anything like that. Now I'm going to do the other side. And again, this can be messy, so be careful. The seeds will fly, y'all. Okay, and that's all you do on this part. So I've got all of these to do right here. So it's going to take me a few minutes. And then I will be right back. Okay, you guys, step one is done. I've got my cucumbers scraped down. All the seeds are gone. And now I just need to cut them in the shape that I want my pickles to be in. Now what I usually do, let me get a bigger one to show you. Okay, here's a big one. What I usually do is I cut them like this. But that one's kind of big. So what I'm going to do with the bigger ones is I'm going to cut it down the middle. And I'm just going to cut it like this. I hope y'all can see this, what I'm doing. I don't want them too big. So you can see that. That's how I like them. This is going to be a lot of pickles, y'all. I have a feeling I will have about 20 jars by the time I'm done. So I hope my friends and family want some cinnamon pickles for their holiday celebrations. Now the smaller ones, I will do like I showed you, where I just cut them like this. And that'll be fine. So I'm going to cut all these up and then we'll come back for our next step in this process. Okay, y'all, I've got all these cucumbers sliced up now. They're in cute little half moon, quarter size half moon, whatever you want to call it, pieces. Some are big and some are small. That's kind of how I like them. So I just weighed them. I've got 8.5 pounds here. So 8.5 pounds of cucumbers. To that, I'm going to use 1 cup of pickling lime. This is Mrs. Wages. She has great pickle products. So I'm gonna put it, yeah, I'm gonna turn your camera around so y'all see what I'm doing. I've got a big red 5-gallon bucket that belongs to my buddy Steve, who gave me the cucumbers in this bucket. So, let me see if my microphone's on, y'all, because you won't be able to hear me. It is. Okay, so I'm going to put the 1 cup of pickling lime in this bucket. Boom. Then I'm going to add, not necessarily this cup, but we'll just rinsing it out. I'm going to add about 4 cups of water, just cold water to that. So this is a 4-cup measuring cup I'm using here. If you don't have one of these, they come in handy when you're making big stuff. All right, so 4 cups of water. And I'm going to add just a little bit more because I'm going to want those pickles to be covered up. And I'm going to take my handy stirrer that I use for tea and other things, and I'm just going to stir this up real good. Now, once I get the pickles in here, I'm gonna want this liquid, this water and lime, to cover up my pickles totally. So I will be adding more water, but I wanted to get this lime dissolved first. Alright. So there's that. Now, in go my pickles. See what kind of mess I can make. Ooh. Or not make. Okay. In they go. Y'all, that's a lot of pickles. Alright. Now I'm just going to add water until it completely covers those up. So this may seem like a lot of work, and it is a lot of work. But this winter, around Christmas time, when you have all those pretty red candy apple pickles, you're gonna love the fact that you made them from your own cucumbers. Some of y'all grow your own cucumbers, so you can use those and be so proud of what you've done. All right, so this is day one. Step one is going to be soaking those pickles in that lime and water for 24 hours. So day two, we'll have another step. On day three, we'll put the pickles together with the cinnamon and the sugar and all those wonderful good things, and then we'll make our pickles. But I just wanted to show y'all day one. So we'll see you tomorrow. I forgot to tell y'all one thing. I will be covering these and just putting them in a cool, dark place for this 24-hour period. So I just wanted to tell you that. Okay, you guys, it's day two for the cinnamon pickles. And what I've done here is I've rinsed my pickles. Okay, they were in this bucket, if you'll remember. And I'm sorry I didn't show you that part, but I was just in a hurry to get it done. It's late, I just got home from church, and I don't want to be up all night, but I may be up all night anyway. But what I did was I used my metal strainer or colander, whatever you want to call it, and I just poured that into there. I rinsed those pickles really good under running water. I just rinsed and rinsed and rinsed. And then by the handfuls, I ran them under the water, and then I placed them in these bowls, in these plastic Tupperware bowls. Those are big bowls, y'all. And I put ice cubes and water in them, and they are going to sit in the ice water for 3 hours. So when they have sat for 3 hours, we will come back and show you the next step. Okay, y'all, I have mixed up 1 cup of vinegar, 4 or 5 cups of water, and about a tablespoon of red food coloring. And I've put my cucumbers in there. I've got them on, I'm about to bring them to a little boil, and then I'm gonna simmer them for about 2 hours in this red food coloring. That will give them a translucent, beautiful red color. So all the red coloring doesn't come just from the red hots, it comes also from putting some food coloring in them to practically dye them is what you're doing. So when I mixed up the vinegar and the food coloring and the water, I put my cucumbers in, and then I filled up more water in there until all of the cucumbers were covered. So now I'm gonna put a lid on. I'm gonna let those simmer for a couple hours. Okay, you guys, back to the pickles. So while my My cucumbers are soaking in the vinegar, water, and red food coloring. I've got something else I have to be doing. So what we're going to do now is make the sweet syrup. And to do that, I've got another stock pot or pan, whatever you want to call it. And in that, I'm going to put, well, let me just pour this in. 10 cups of sugar. Y'all, I said 10 cups of sugar. That's right. These are sugary cinnamon pickles. So I've got 10 cups of sugar there. I'm going to put in 2 cups of white vinegar to the sugar. And then I'm going to put 2 cups of water. Let me grab it over here at the sink. This is a 2-cup measuring cup. All right. Now I'm just going to stir that up. That is a lot of sugar, y'all. Now, when you make these, your house is going to smell like vinegar, especially the first, well, when you're doing the soaking solution, because it's got all that vinegar in it and it doesn't have any sugar or anything, so it's just real vinegary. But then the next day, it's going to smell a little better because you're soaking it in the sugary syrup. So let's see here. What else we got in this? We need 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm not using pickling salt. I'm just using regular salt. 1 teaspoon. Alrighty. Now, finally, stirring this sugar up here. I'm going to go ahead and turn my eye on. And now I'm going to add in my red hot candy. Okay. Now it asks for 12 ounces of red hots. So there goes 4.5 ounces. And here goes another 4.5 ounces, which that's 9. And then here's another 4.5 ounce bag. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put the whole thing in there because I do have a few extra cucumbers than the 8 pounds. I had like 8.5 pounds, if you'll remember. So there is nothing wrong with having a few extra red hots in there. Now, I'm going to bring this to a boil and I'll stir it when that heat starts getting hot because I don't want it to stick or burn. So I'm going to bring this to a boil. Then I'm going to reduce the heat and simmer this for about an hour. By the time this is simmered, these will be ready. And what I'll do then is I will drain the vinegar mixture off of these cucumbers. And then I'll replace that with the sugary syrup. And when I do that, it will be sitting overnight just in the pan on the stovetop. You don't have to put it in the fridge or anything like that. But I'm going to be just letting it sit overnight. And then in the morning, it'll be time to put the pickles in the jar. So you see, this is a lot of steps, but it is so worth it, y'all. These are such good pickles. You're going to love this. All right, be back. Okay, we're back. And it is so past my bedtime, y'all. I'm really tired. But we got to get this last step done for day 2. So our syrup has been simmering and the Red Hots are most all dissolved. There's still a few little giblets floating around in there, but I think it'll be fine. All right, so it's ready to go. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drain the vinegar water off of my cucumbers. So let you see what I'm going to do over here at the sink. I'm just going to take my pot. This is a big stock pot, y'all. And I've got my colander down in my sink. I'm just going to pour it down the drain. Pour those cukes in there. They are pretty and red. Ooh. Wow. Look here, y'all. I don't know if you can see that. All right. Now I'm going to put them over here so I can drain the rest of them. There we go. There's no need to rinse out the pan. I just wanted to drain that vinegar water off of there. Now I'm going to go ahead and run some water in my sink because I don't want that red food coloring sitting there. Here is the rest of those. They're so pretty. And they really do smell good. So here they are. Nice and bright red. Okay, and I'm going to put them back over here. All right. Hope you can see this. Okay, now I'm going to take my syrup. My Red Hot sugar candy syrup. And I'm going to pour it over my pickles. Here we go. I'm going to very carefully pour it over my pickles. Okay. Let's see if I can get this over here where you can see it better. A little better. If that's better. I need a camera woman. Whoa. Deb, where are you? Okay. Okay, well, I give up. Okay. All right, so now the pickles are going to soak overnight in the yummy cinnamon syrup. So I'm going to mash them down good in the syrup so they're all good and covered as best we can. And then I'm going to make sure the eyes are turned off. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm telling you right there. Yep, that's right. Turn it off. Cover it up. And let them sit overnight. So in the morning when I get up, it's time to put them in the jars. So we'll do that and we'll give them a good hot water bath and they'll be good to go. So we'll do a little taste test. I'm pretty sure they will be yummy, delicious. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. Actually, I'll see you in a minute. but it's really going to be tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It's time to finish up these cinnamon pickles. So I've let them sit overnight, and let me turn this camera down for you. So as you see, I have my hot water bath going. So I've let this water heat up to a boiling, and then I've got my jars in there, just giving them a little extra sterilization this morning. I have my pickles in this pan. I have turned them on and let them simmer for about 45 minutes. So they're good and hot. I also have my lids and rings in a pan of boiling water, waiting for me to get done so we can seal these babies up. So I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. And I'm going to pull out my jars. Now, if you don't have one of these fancy gadgets, you need one of those. If you're going to be doing any canning at all, these are a lifesaver. They grab a hold of that jar for you so you don't have to touch it. And then I'm just going to lay these out on my towel upside down so they can drain while I'm getting ready to stuff them with these yummy cinnamon pickles. I don't know how many jars I'm going to be getting out of this. Normally it's between 8 and 10. I'm hoping I can get a few little small jars because, you know, a lot of times, unless you're serving a big crowd, you're not going to use a whole pint-sized jar of these pickles at one time. I mean, you can keep them in the fridge for a while, but, and I don't even know how long it's safe to keep them in the fridge after you've opened them. But if we have the small jars, then you're more likely to eat them all. See, I've got a couple of small jars in here. See there? I guess half pint jars is what that is. And they're also very pretty. I love those. I love to give these pickles at Christmas time with a gift basket. They're just perfect to stick in a gift basket for my friends, and they all love them. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, my friend Kim saw my post on Facebook that I was making cinnamon pickles, and she said, hey, can I buy some of your cinnamon pickles? And I said, no, absolutely not. You can't buy them, but I'll give you some. And she was like, oh no, that's too much work for you not to get paid for them. And I said, Kim, I make these so I can give them away. That's why I make them. I mean, I do like to have some on hand for the holidays, but I don't eat that many of them. I'll eat a few, you know, but my goodness, they're full of sugar, and Mo don't need all that sugar. Okay, I've got all of my jars out of my hot water. So, what's the best way to do this? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a flip-flop here. Flip this camera around. Hold on. Woo! Hopefully y'all can still see what we're doing. Okay. Okay, so we've got our yummy goodness there. I'm going to get me a dark colored towel because I sure don't want to stain up any of my white towels. So there's that. I'm going to bring some of these jars over here. Turn them right side up. Y'all know that old saying that says work smarter, not harder? Well, this ain't that. Here I am having to move these jars to the other side of the room. But I sure don't want to move that hot pot of boiling water. Okay, so here we go. Another thing you need is a canning funnel. This funnel sits right down in your jar, just like that. and it's wonderful for anything you're canning. All right. Scoot this over. Now, I like to get a good combination of pickles and juice, because you definitely want the juice in there so they can continue to marinate in all that sugar and goodness. Okay, so there is quite a bit of pickles in there. I'm going to add some juice. You want to get it up to about a quarter from the top where your lid goes on. More juice, a few more pickles. Yeah, definitely full of pickles there. Now a little more juice. Save some juice for the other guys. Okay, so that's how that looks, okay? You got juice, you got pickles. Now I like to take a knife and just kind of scooch them around, and then take my knife and run it down the side, and if there's any air trapped in there, that'll help get that air out of there. All right. I have one more little gadget that y'all need to buy from Amazon. This is a magnetized little stick, and what that does, it enables me to get my lids out of the water without having to touch them. Now let me find the ring for that big old jar. There it is. Look at that. Didn't have to touch it at all. Okay. And I'm going to add just a few more pickles to the top of this jar, because there seems to be a little bit too much space in there. I mean, this is not an exact science, y'all. Now, you want to take a clean rag and make sure your lid doesn't have any pickle juice around the top or the edge, because that will cause your jar not to seal. Now I'm just going to place my lid on, and then I'm going to screw my lid on, screw my ring on. Get it finger tight, as they call it. Now, you might ask, what do you do with it now? So now that the lid's on tight, I'm going to take my little grabbers and I'm going to stick it back down into my hot water bath. And I'm not going to move the camera. Y'all know what I'm doing. So that's all there is to that part. Now I'm going to finish these up, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, guys and gals, I've about got my hot water bath filled up. Let's see, I'm crooked here. So I wanted to show y'all this one thing though. Y'all recognize that jar? What does that say on there? Y'all sweet tea. So I had ordered me some of those mason jars last year, and I forgot about them. So I found those, and I've been using those. So anyway, I just wanted to show y'all that before I fill up this last one. So I finally got smart and moved my jars over the pot. So when it drips, it won't drip all over the counter. Work smarter, not harder. I tell myself that all the time, but then I always end up doing dumb stuff. Okay. So, man, I'm really high there for some reason. Okay. Okay, and we also forgot a very, very important part of this whole process. A taste test. So we've got to do that as I seal up this last jar. And that little pickle on the top is the one I'm going to try. Okay, so look how pretty that is, y'all. How pretty and red. It's just gorgeous. Now, this is the best part. It's got a good crunch to it. Y'all, They're so good. Tastes like candy. I love them. I can't eat many of them because I don't want my sugar to shoot up. So, but I sure do love them. Now I'm going to add just a little bit more juice in this jar. The juice in the jar makes it look really pretty sitting on the shelf or in your gift basket or whatever you're going to do. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Wiping on the rim here. Wipe it off good. Grab a ring. So y'all, this made a little bit more this year. I guess having that extra half a pound of cucumbers really made a difference. Thank you, Steve. Okay, so there you go. You can see the y'all. So, if you've been wanting to try to make pickles, don't be afraid to give it a shot. And if you've never eaten a cinnamon pickle or a Christmas pickle or whatever people call them, apple rings, sometimes they'll call them, you need to find somebody that makes them and try them. If you live near me, you know, say, Mo, I want some of your pickles. So, just do it because they're really good and they're not that hard. We're gonna have the recipe posted. And there's one thing I want to tell you about the recipe. When we first started, I showed you some alum. I had that out for a different recipe and it got mixed in with my pickle stuff. So this recipe does not have any alum in it. So there you go. It had the lime, but not the alum. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish hot water bathing these things and we're done. See ya.